studio. This is going to be quite interesting now that there has been a lot of events happening across the country politically ahead of the 2022 politics, and the response of the Amani National Congress leader Musalia Mudavadi on Ruto's proposal to, of course, create a political pact ahead of 2022. We have in studio this particular night gentlemen from this particular party. Sharif Jere on my far right, welcome very much. He is the ANC Youth League strategist. I hope I got that correctly. Yes. So we have youth in studio today. Thank you very much for being here. Omulo Jr.
Yes, yes.
Karibu sana Mheshimiwa. You are the ANC National Youth Leader. It's good to have youth in gracing our studio today, now that we can also witness that youth are taking over, or rather are coming boldly into politics.
Sure.
First, I'd love you to just tell me how you feel about being with us today. It's good to have you.
First of all, I have to thank you very much for, welcoming us here today to discuss matters that are very important in this country. And it's a nice experience being on KUTV. I think this is the first time, and I know we are going to rock. Yes, yes.
That is how you know you have the youth. They're going to rock politically.
Yes,
so,
yes.
Sharif, you have something to say as we kick off.
Yeah, similarly, I want to thank you for inviting us here. And I'm so impressed with KUTV.
Thank you.
You focus more on the youth. They usually say youth are the leaders of tomorrow.
We're leaders of today.
But KUTV thinks youth are the leaders of today.
Thank you very much.
So I'm really impressed.
All right, so that is quite encouraging. But now let's go back to matters that the Mwananchi wants to listen to.
Sure.
And of course, before we even go into the Kibra, by-elections and the campaigns that are about to kick off, let's talk about the wholesome, political developments this particular time. I'm just going to highlight what the leader of the Amani National Congress, made very clear recently when he turned down Ruto's proposal to attempt to, of course, do some presidency, pact. And he termed it, I would say, quote unquote, cheeky and ridiculous.
Yeah, of course.
You want to, say something about this?
What I know is, first of all, that we have declared our interest to run for presidency come 2022.
Yes.
And it is in the public domain that we are not going to go back. Musalia Mudavadi is focused in the service to humanity. Number two, you cannot compare Ruto and Musalia Mudavadi. Musalia Mudavadi is respected and is a leader that is celebrated, having a wealth of experience in different sectors in government. Being the Minister of Finance, is touched on economic development of this country. And I believe, Ruto is a leader whom we also respect. But, Ruto is interested in political gimmicks, rhetorics, stories, which we say sometimes is good to make comedies. But our interest is service to humanity. We know what Mwananchi wants. So making such statement, actually, it is good to make news, which of course we agree. But at the same time, we have to realize that Kenya, at this moment, we are not interested in such comedies. And that's why we are not going to form alliance with the Ruto. And what we are aware and what we know is that come 2022, we will form alliance with, like-minded individuals or leaders who will also be interested in service to humanity. But so far, I think we treat it as, stories and comedies.
So this is not something that you think your leader will consider later on, because 2022 is not too far off, but things have changed politically over the time.
We can only consider if he's going to support us, he's going to be our running mate.
Oh, so
Yeah, that will work for us.
So running mate, not anything.
No, not anything sort
less.
of that. Yeah.
Steve, Sharif, I'm just going back. I'm going to come to you. If you share the same sentiments as Omulo here, please. Do you share the same sentiments? I know you're from the same party. However, also just to quote, some people have also made it very clear, not once, not twice, that the only person who can beat Ruto in this particular presidential game, or I would call it quote unquote game in 2022, is ODM leader Raila Odinga. You might have comments on this even as we take a look at 2022 politics.
Exactly. I think on the Ruto Mudavadi pact, I think it's impossible. Even if we say he comes as a running mate, the constitution is very clear. Ruto can only be a running mate for 2 terms, which is he will complete in 2022, meaning he cannot be a running mate again. Number 2, Musalia has announced and is focused on being president.
Yes.
And he wants vied as a deputy to Raila, and he has said no more, he cannot do it again. So I think there is no pact that is coming. Even if we were to consider it, it cannot be possible. And then on the Raila issue of Raila being the only person who can beat Ruto, I think, I don't think it's true. Considering the past history, it has not been said, it has been said before that Raila can beat, it was said Raila can beat Kibaki. Kibaki became president. It was then said Raila can beat Uhuru. Uhuru became president. And I think those people are saying Raila can beat Ruto, only want Ruto to be president, which is very impossible.
You know, when we still discuss this, I'm glad that you're youth. And your youth in the Amani National Congress. Now, away from the party, I want to bring you into the shoes of the Kenyan youth. Do you feel that Kenyan youth so far have been participating fully in political matters? And do you feel that they're making the right decisions as the youth? Are they playing the role in shaping the future we want for this country? I'll start here with Omulo on the same and get your sentiments as well on where the youth stand politically.
Of course, in fact, in 2017, we agree that we have quite a number of young people who are elected in parliament, both in the Senate and parliament and also county assemblies. The only challenge is that we're electing young people, but they don't understand their role. Actually, whatever they're supposed to represent in parliament is what is missing.
Okay.
And currently, what we can say is that we only have 2 bills that have been passed by young people, especially number 1. We have Youth Employment Authority bill, which was passed, fronted by Sakaja. We also have social benefit bill that is sponsored by Honorable Caleb Amisi, and also small bills that some are not even known. But we believe that we want to give them more time because we are looking at the quality.
Okay.
Number 2, in political parties, that is why we are participating, and we're in the decision-making organs. Because what we want to do, we want to encourage young people to participate in politics, and especially in decision-making. That will improve our democracy and leadership. But we want to front, serious leaders who knows what they are supposed to do. Because this issue of youth is becoming abnormal when it comes to an employment issue. It has got a lot of challenges. The issues of drug abuse, the issues of a lot of issues that needs to be addressed. But you see, sometimes young people are taken out, they are overrated, they are overlooked, they are taken as normal people. But I think nowadays we have changed that narrative, and we are participating actively. What we need to urge is our young people are elected through Kenya Young Parliamentarian Association. We also have young members of county assembly. They need to wake up and come up with policies and bills that will help assist and approve the level of young people.
Omulo has made it very clear here that yes, young people are being given platforms, but are they exercising, those powers correctly? Do you agree? The platforms, because we used to cry about platforms, we want to be recognized. Now he's saying a few bills have been passed, but the rest need to wake up. You agree? Okay,
to some extent I agree with him. Young people have spaces, political spaces they can utilize to make their voices heard. But then again, they are not using them. And for example, in political parties, it is very rare to find young people going for the top seats. Seats like a Secretary General, Chairman, Treasurer, Organizing Secretary. They only want to remain being in the youth league, or rather as organizers. For example, if a party has activity, you'll find it's the youth who arrange seats and all that. But going for the top seats, they are not going. On the other hand, the young parliamentarians, they have got the chance to represent the young people in parliament and other spaces, but they are not doing it in a manner that we can expect good things to come out. The bills he has talked about, they have been passed, but now where is the implementation? Those are the things they are supposed to be pushing.
Follow-ups.
Yes, the follow-ups. When it comes to other spaces, like for example, spaces in appointments, we can see that old people are being recycled in these spaces. Where are the young people? And we have graduates every day. So I think young people are underlooked to some extent.
You know, I do not know if I should say that I like that you use the word people are being recycled in positions when we can bring in fresh
Exactly,
people.
exactly.
Now, as we discuss about the young people in politics, we've already looked at 2022. However, let's come back down home to the heat of the politics at this particular time, the Kibra by-elections. After we lost the former member of parliament, that is Ken Okoth, who succumbed to cancer. Now, there are big shoes that people are questioning who will now wear. Who will fit in and who will take up the roles that Ken Okoth was doing in Kibra. Now, so far, different leaders, different groups have unveiled their candidates, including the ANC, where we have Eliud. And a lot of, the campaign kicks off tomorrow. A lot of Kenyans are asking, why Eliud? And is he really, you know, this one person that Kibra is going to go for? A lot of people also believe that Kibra has been the ODM zone.
Yes.
And I also want to appreciate that these are young people we're seeing.
Sure.
So besides them being from different parties and political affiliations, they are young people to start with. However, as you kick off your campaigns tomorrow, you're here representing the ANC.
Okay.
You are confident that Eliud has this. You want to, you know, give your comments on that, please. The Sharif, start us off.
From the little research I've done, Eliud has a good track record in Kibra. Okay. He's not just starting, he started long ago. And number two, the people of Kibra are very bright people. If you look at the history of the people they have elected before, they always go for the very bright people. People who are focused, people who are objective. And if you look at Eliud, even the way he talks, the way he articulates issues, he's someone who is visionary and progressive. And I think that is the right person for Kibra people. ANC, as a party, we believe in objectivity, progressive leaders, and we also believe in truth and justice. And I think Eliud carries that. Having performed before in campaign trails, which performed very well, we think his campaigns will be good, and he will deliver the seat to ANC.
You know, Sharif, thank you very much for giving us those qualities, because somebody once mentioned it's not about just choosing a young person or choosing someone to put in there because a party has chosen him. You know, I would just love to, you know, highlight that Eliud was once in ODM before he actually resigned from ODM. A lot of people, allow me to also quote, are asking, is this a political, you know, I don't want to use the word stand, but now to break ODM, you pick their own person before. He was their own person before, but you'd like to touch on that. Is it something that you also, you know, politically, because politics can come with certain games in it?
Actually, first and foremost, I want to say that, you know, the late Ken Okoth was a leader who dedicated his life to support and help, you know, improve the lives of Kibra people. Number two, I would say that for those people who have lived in ghetto, they understand what ghetto is. There are a lot of injustices, there are a lot of police arrests, there are a lot of drug abuses, there are a lot of unemployment. People are suffering, in simple terms. And this is the time that they needed a leader who will achieve and actually carry on the mantle of Ken Okoth. We have seen different candidates, and I would say that we are not fielding, you know, Wallo, you know, to break ODM. That is not the issue. Wallo used to be in ODM, and I believe that he contested in 2013, and he was denied the opportunity to lead the people of Kibra. I remember that time the by-election was crude, and it was not free and fair. And I believe that he has come to the right party, and I believe that is going to, with the policies that he has, his interest is a leader who has come out to give service to humanity, as opposed to other candidates. Look at, you know, the candidate who is being fronted by Jubilee. I think Ruto wants to create a narrative that, you know, the contest between, you know, in Kibra is between him and Raila. A narrative that is just political. You know, even Mariga himself is not interested in leadership in Kibra. Ruto wants to create news, but they know the reality in Kibra, that Kibra by-election is a two-horse race. It's between Eliud Owalo and the person who was nominated, Imra Okoth of ODM.
You know, Mheshimiwa might not know for sure if Mariga is not interested in this seat.
No, from...
You're making it look very clear that Mariga is not interested. We cannot, however, say that vividly on television that he is not interested unless we had him here.
You know the reason why I'm saying that? From his speech,
okay.
You know, when he was given that nomination certificate. Actually, the way he was speaking, he could not even articulate what, you know, his desire to serve Kibra people. He was just saying, I hope Jubilee will just serve us. Jubilee is a peaceful party. Okay. But you see now, Owalo has come up with a manifesto.
All right.
The 9 points, what he wants to help, you know, he wants to do after election. Okay. And also Imra is a CDF chairman. He actually has worked for Kibra people. So these are two different people. That's why we are saying that Kibra by-election is a two-horse race. It is between Owalo and Imra. And this is the time that we are going to liberate Kibra people. We are going to, you know, remove them from the cage of poverty, okay. You know, the cage of injustice. All right. And that is why we are fronting Owalo, who will give that justice. You know, we respect the strong opinions in studio this particular evening, because the gentlemen in studio, just to remind you once more, are of course with the Amani National Congress, and of course this is matters regarding the by-election in Kibra. They are very, you know, confident with the candidates that they have picked, and that is why you can hear those opinions in studio. Now, before we wrap up this particular bulletin, there is no way we can wrap up without touching on the current issue that is raising eyebrows across the country. Now, just to mention, there was, I would say, quote-unquote drama at the church in relation to politics. I will just, you know, read briefly for the viewer at home. Now, there was a business standstill at the church when Nyoro, of course, allow me to say that, clashed with nominated Member of Parliament, Maina Kamanda, over who should have been in charge of a fundraiser. Now, if you followed that story, I just want to get your comments on the same, just very briefly. There was politicking in church. Now you're young people in politics. This is not a future we want to see. Is the church standing in a place it can be respected anymore? And do you feel that the politicians, now that you're also in politics, but young people in politics, are really giving the church the kind of respect it deserves? Because the clergy has come out, the Catholic Church has come out to demand apology from the political leaders, and now here you are representing the political leaders. Also, there is a question of where does this leave the church? Now, as we just wrap up, I'll start with Sharif, and then, of course, Omulo, you'll help us understand what and where the church stands with the politics in the country. Yes, please. First,
I will say the drama is very unfortunate. Number two, I want to say the church is partly to blame for these kinds of drama. Okay. Because number one, if you have a fundraising, I think it is proper you do it outside the church. Organize an event, invite people and do a fundraising. All right. Now, coming to the politicians, that is very bad manners. Having been elected by people to represent them, one, it is a very bad mirror to upcoming politicians like us, the youth. On Ndindi Nyoro, I think Ndindi Nyoro deserves it, the humiliation and all that. Because I remember, I can't recall the exact dates, but I remember Ndindi Nyoro saying that President Uhuru should start being a dictator. Or he should be serving as a dictator. Oh, okay. Yesterday, the police wanted to harass him, and we saw it on videos, and he was complaining about it. He's the one who was advising such kind of behaviors. So he usually fuels them? Exactly. Okay. So I think it is unfortunate. Then again, I would advise, all right, please. As politicians, we need to be always on the right side of the law. Okay. You never know when the law will catch up with you. Even if you're in government, please stand for the truth, stand for the law. Right. That is the only way we will help each other. Because sometimes people tend to think that the law will only serve those who are not in government. Okay. But those who are in government are above the law. You can see what is happening now. So what you're saying right now is no one is above the law. Exactly. And politicians, even those who are young, should always be on the right side. Now, because of time... And just a little. Okay. And I will also like to advise congregations of churches, because we've seen very bad behaviors in churches, leave alone the Ndindi Nyoro thing. We have the Neno thing, how congregations are treated, and they are tolerating it. Okay. One person is mistreating a whole congregation, inviting politicians, abusing people, and the congregation is tolerating it. So it is also upon the people who are attending the church to tell their pastors or their spiritual leaders to follow the script, follow what they are teaching.
You know, you said follow the script, but I understand they should follow the script. Omulo, your parting shot, and also as you give us your take on what is going on with the politics in the church.
I think this is what I will say, that a church is a holy place, that for you to stand at the podium, you're supposed to be ordained.
Okay.
And this is not the first time we're discussing this debate. What I do, I blame the pastors and also bishops for being hypocrites, because what they say that they will not allow politics in the church, and they are going contrary to
what
the
they
decision.
said.
Yeah, what they say.
Okay.
So, you know, church is supposed to be a place which is supposed to instill national values and moral values in our children, and also those who are coming up, because that's where you're supposed to get spiritual nourishment. At the same time, I don't blame politicians, because I think it was an Arambe, they were supposed to fundraise, but I think Ndindi Nyoro acted in contrary to the expectation of many, because as a politician and as a leader, he ought to have carried himself in a manner that reflects a leader who represents the people of Central. So what they are trying to portray is that Team Kileweke and Tangatanga, and this is not the first time they are fighting. I remember Wambugu was fighting with you know, the Minister for Agriculture. And this is not the first time. They just want to create political gimmicks. They're saying that this is not the right time to play that. Let us focus on the Big Four agenda. Let them help Uhuru Kenyatta, you know, achieve his dream.
Thank you so much, gentlemen, for being in studio. We actually wish we had hours to discuss what youth feel about where the country stands at this particular point in time. But once again, Sharif Jere, the ANC Youth League strategist, and Omulo Jr., ANC National Youth Leader, thank you so much for being here. We're following closely the campaigns and of course the by-election slated for November 7th, is it? So we wish you well as well as youth in politics.
And we also pray for us, because we are going to win.
All right, now in that same light, let's take a look at the sports news before we take a short break, and of course with our guests right here with me. Introduced in Kenya